आज इथे प्राध्यापक प्रमोद जोगळेकर उपस्थित आहेत. मी त्यांना बोलण्याची विनंती करणार आहे. त्यांचा अगदी थोडक्यात परिचय करून द्यायचा. तर डेक्कन कॉलेजच्या पुरातत्व विभागात ते प्राध्यापक म्हणून त्यांनी काम बघितलं आणि तिथले विभाग प्रमुख म्हणून ते निवृत्त झाले. रूपकुंड या पुरातत्वीय स्थळाविषयीचं त्यांचं काम हे प्रसिद्ध आहे. आर्किओलॉजी व्यतिरिक्त 20हून अधिक पुस्तकं त्यांनी अनुवादित केलेली आहेत आणि सध्या ते भांडारकर प्राच्यविद्या संशोधन मंदिरात इन्फोसिस अकॅडमिक डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोग्रॅम या प्रोग्रॅमचे ते डायरेक्टर म्हणून काम बघत आहेत. जोगळेकर सर.
We have decided that I will speak in English alternatively, just for change. Dr. Joglekar sir and all the well-wishers of Ravindra Kulkarni who have gathered here. I am not going to talk about the book itself. It will be misadventure on my part because when Dr. Joglekar is sitting on the dais, I should not talk anything about the caves, art history or anything about the architectural elements because I am neither competent in architecture nor in art history. However, I have some expertise in quantification because of my statistics background. So, Mr. Ravindra Kulkarni used to come to me and we had a lot of discussions about how to do calculations and whether he is on the right track or not. And we had very long discussions. As usual, I was always skeptical because that is the way science progresses. Skeptical about how he was arguing. And then certain matters came out of it and finally a book has come out of it. I remember teaching him long time ago because I have been teaching research methodology for a very long time to many students. Dozens of students I have taught. And that's why I have chosen to talk about the research process that he has adopted. I used to always say that find out what is not being done in the knowledge. Find out a gap and then expand the gap by putting more knowledge into it, and then you will get to something a good knowledge later on. Also, I used to say that if there is something which is already established in the field, it is very difficult and challenging to refute that. And at a very advanced stage, you should take it, not at the early stage of your research that you go and challenge somebody's already established knowledge. But Ravindra Kulkarni has taken up that challenge. And he has really taken up the challenge of refuting or rather scrutinizing first the paradigm which Walter Spinks has propagated. Walter Spinks, many of you may not know, was a well-known name in art history, especially his work on Ajanta. He used to have a lot of workshops for students and beginners or anybody for that matter. And then through such workshops, he used to propagate what his ideas are. As we have heard from Mr. Kulkarni, he said about a short chronology of less than 20 years, which is actually not tenable. But apart from him, several dozens of students must have heard about this chronology. Several of them must have read about the earlier chronologies by Ferguson and some other people also. But it is he who could understand that there is some gap and I should look at it. In his book, he has written a sentence. When you read the book, you will find. He said, I was curious, but anybody could have done that work. This is his humbleness which he has put there in the book. But it is not so. Anybody could not have done because Ravindra Kulkarni had love for the subject and he really saw what needs to be done and take up something like, because Walter Spinks by the time has almost become a god in art history. So challenging such things with arguments and with proper logic, as Dr. Bapat said, he was looking at the logic. I was also looking at the logic and the argument parts. And then finally, he has come out with a very solid set of arguments. This is a true scientific spirit. Not only that, as he has mentioned, Dr. Bapat mentioned, he doesn't think it is final. And this is also an important aspect of scientific spirit. Nothing is final. It is always conditioned by the facts and the logic we put in at that particular stage. Later on, after some time, somebody else can also challenge this. And this also needs to be challenged. Somebody should also find gaps in his arguments. And then only the subject or the knowledge can progress. I'm very happy that he has done it. He has taken a little more time A long time I have been discussing with him that at some stage you should conclude and do the work and publish the work. Let others think what are the gaps. But finally, I'm very happy that he has done it. Only last suggestion, again, I'm using the opportunity of that I have taught you sometime. So giving a little bit of advice. When we begin a research, any research work, we should be completely in love with the research. 24 hours here, there, everywhere. But once the research is over, then the love should become zero. Now it is given for others to read. We should emotionally detach ourselves from the work. Then only one can look at the same work. After maybe 10 years, he can look at it and say, no, I was wrong here and I can rectify it. So now, Ravindra Kulkarni should completely dissociate emotionally from this work and proceed somewhere else. Of course, I'm not saying stop. I'm not saying stop. So I'm very happy once again that he has produced this work, and as Dr. Bapat said, everyone should read it. The way the arguments are put, it is so important. That's why I thought of talking about the research process that has gone in his mind. And also another, why I'm saying so is because I'm proud that I have taught him the research process. Thank you very much.